Welcome to my site, sites.google.com/jbergmandesigner. This is my portfolio for video game design. I'm currently earning my degree as a Bachelor of Arts in Video Game Design from the University of Advancing Technology, and am expected to complete graduation in December of 2009. This site is comprised of all the works that I have put together over the course of the last 4 years that showcase my abilities as a video game designer. To jump right in, the first part of my portfolio is going to be my game levels, which starts with Warcraft 3 levels that I've designed. The first one is called The Cleansing of Felwood, which is a basic 2-player melee map intended for 2 different players to play in a multiplayer environment. There is a full design document as well as level diagram available with this one, as well as the level itself is available for download to play with inside of the Warcraft 3 game. I also included a custom script from the Warcraft 3 World Edit scripting program, and basically it's a custom human AI script that's intended to change the basic behaviors of human AI inside of Warcraft 3. So if maps utilize any AI abilities for human characters, it would actually be able to be playable in any map that utilizes humans as part of the map. And then my final part of it is for Warcraft 3 is called an AI scripting project, which is a single-player story told through the use of programming triggers and reaction elements into the AI to allow players to basically interact properly with the environment, as well as have NPCs continue to push the action forward. And that concludes my Warcraft 3 stuff. And moving on to Unreal Tournament, I did one map in Unreal Tournament 2004. It's called DM Manslaughter. It was originally intended as a 1 versus 1 DM map or deathmatch map. It has great Z-axis capabilities as well as some tight quarters, and can create a real cat and mouse type scenario for a 1 versus 1. However, it also does play very well as a 3 versus 3 team deathmatch. Moving on from there into more of my conceptual documents, I have my completed design documents, which includes a MMO first-person shooter hybrid called Parch, set in a futuristic world where the entire world is confined into a large 40,000-foot tower, and it is segregated by the control of water versus money, water being the power that bears down on all. It is a true action title in terms of it's not a turn-based MMORPG. It is a true real-time first-person shooter with MMORPG elements. My second one is a Race Pro Driver is the name of the title. It is also an MMO game in terms of progression, but it's done through a reputation point system earned through racing, and it offers a very complex interaction starting with go-kart style racing on moving on up into the Premier League such as NASCAR and IndyCar. It's fully comprehensive in terms of the track list required in order to meet the requirements set forth by all of the different racing series that I've chosen to be involved in. It would be very license heavy, and it would also offer the true simulation experience to someone seeking that type of racing game, and it is intended for the Xbox 360. Moving on from there, I did 2 game pitches. First one was called Advanced Tactics Team Warfare, and it was a true multiplayer game where instead of having kills be responsible for running up the player's score and part of the victory condition, it's actually more about coordination of specific character classes such as support or assault or anything like that, and it moves forward into providing stronger strategic points, progressively changing the strategic points, and essentially allowing players to progress through the map and capture points. And similar systems can be seen in both Battlefield 2 as well as Quake Wars Enemy Territory, and kind of give you an idea for the type of action we're looking at only on a one-shot, one-kill, Rainbow Six style realistic shooter. And then the second pitch document that I've included was called Bermuda, which was a first-person action-adventure game, and where our main character is Hal Brent. He crashes or disappears over the Bermuda Triangle, wakes up 30 years later believing time has not changed. He's not aged one bit. However, the world has aged and evolved around him, and it becomes a venture to figure out how he got to where he was. Going on from there, I've included 2 high concepts, which are a little bit more detailed than your traditional concepts. The first high concept is called We Sim Pimp, And what that was is we were given a project within one of my classes to take a bad game idea and create a fun and compelling experience behind it. And I believe WeSimPimp does do that by combining SimCity, Grand Theft Auto, and the humor of a Family Guy to offer players a fun and interactive experience using the full motion capabilities of the Wiimote control, as well as offering kind of a fun and compelling game experience that's easy to pick up and put down at which is kind of is conducive to a Wii game. The other final pitch or high concept that I put together was called Volition, and Volition was a third-person action-adventure game where players utilized a primary mechanic called intuition. And intuition allowed the players to visualize objects and know how they can interact with them in a hurry, or not necessarily in a hurry, but without using traditional go forward here, go through door A, go through door B. Quite the contrary, they can find multiple avenues and paths and different ways to utilize their skill sets and abilities to interact with the environment and complete their quest that's been given to them. The next section from there was my scripts and story arcs, and scripts and story arcs was about showing my ability to be able to write a full-fledged story. And the first one would be The Fate of Arrington. In The Fate of Arrington, it's a high-level overview of an actual story arc for a fantasy game called The Fate of Arrington, where instead of following the traditional prince or king on his adventure to rid the world of the bad guys, quite the contrary, we're actually going to lead a little goblin on his rise to power within the realms of the Greenskin forces, orcs and goblins, and how he actually runs or can run the human race off the face of the planet, and the consequences for doing that, or vice versa, his ability to actually allow the player to choose in the end to either choose to leave the human forces or turn away at the last minute. The other one is my script for The Grand Adventures of Buck Savoy, which serves as the first introductory quest and the script set up for that introductory quest, as well as a detailed character profile of all the characters involved in that. And then finally, I've included 2 design analyses. And those design analyses, they're intended to show a breakdown of understanding of game concepts and hooks necessary to capture a player's attention. For example, in my Metal Gear Solid 2, I've included the hooks and the gameplay mechanics that draw a player in to holding them into Metal Gear Solid 2 and wanting them to continue to play the game, as the first level is absolutely crucial to that. And then my final one was a design for Zul'Gurub, how the design breakdown for Zul'Gurub entices players to continue to push and progress through that instance, which is a classic WoW instance now that's been at the time was probably one of the better WoW instances, has probably been surpassed by some of the newer endgame rating content such as Uldar and the Trial of Champions. But it gives a good idea of where Blizzard got a lot of the inspiration for their current endgame rating instances as well. And then finally, I've got a contact me where you can find all my contact information, such as mailing address, email address, my Facebook site, as well as my phone number. And then I've also included an About Me section, which includes a bit of a biography about my history, where I'm from, and then also my resume. If you have any questions, please feel free to drop me an email, shoot me a call, whatever works best. I hope you enjoy the site and hope you have fun playing around with some of my content. Thanks.